Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 12th. Oh my, I need to fix this camera a little bit. Well, market's down again this morning. Hitting the 5% limit overnight again. At the moment, they have bounced off of it. Oh, no, wait, never mind. While I was away, they came back down to it. So it's just stuck. Donald Trump gave his speech last night about what the government is doing to help everybody get through this crisis. I think the telling moment for me during all of that was that he does not have an economic stimulus ready yet. He's been talking to Congress about it, but it sounds like they're dragging their feet, which I think is just absolutely dumb. Like, you guys didn't have any trouble bailing everybody else out. When it's time to bail out the American worker because they have to stay home sick, it's too much. This just, I don't think that that's going to stand for very long. So, yeah, I think that until Nancy Pelosi gets a payroll tax holiday bill going through Congress, it may be hard to catch a bid in this market. So, let's check out the markets here. And by the way, good morning, Bill. Good morning, Red. Couple of new people. Thank you guys all very much. All right, so here's a chart. We'll look at it from our volume profile chart here, so you can see 2601 is the limit. They actually bounced pretty hard off of it a couple of times, but you can see right now we are stuck limit down with 5,000 contracts on the ES holding it down. Treasuries. Here's the Treasury. Treasury not as high. So this is a little bit concerning to me. Treasuries, not the safe haven they were. People are now literally going to cash rather than having treasuries. That's problematic in my view. I don't know what completely the cause of that is, but it seems like investors have soured on the treasuries lately, perhaps because they think that we're going to go into so much debt that it hurts their value. That's maybe perhaps one theory. Well, it's the best theory I can come up with right now. You guys have any thoughts? You can let me know. All right, so now that's interesting that I am not getting the micros. You can see here, though, 6,000 stuck on the offer. Now, last time that this happened, there was like 10,000 on it. So we can, it could maybe get worse. Of course, if it stays, that also means greater chance of them maybe beating out that offer. But I bet you that there's more in June. So let's do that first, as it's time to roll over. Database management, roll over. Yes. Might have to restart Jigsaw. Okay, so NinjaTrader rolled over. Let's switch this now. Yeah, it does look like I have to restart it, so let's do that. It doesn't recognize the changes from the NinjaTrader 8 bridge, so we have to restart it. Docs. How long have they been stuck here? Since about the top of the hour, so not that bad. SI is going down a lot. Which one? Oh, silver. Yeah. Well, isn't it interesting that the metals have not been a safe haven? I think part of it originally was that, a lot of the demand for gold out there comes from like China and India. And since they're getting hit pretty hard by the virus right now, I think that was the start of it. But number of cases in China is going down, Fingers crossed, maybe China has seen the worst of it. So there must be something more to it. And I really think that I go back to this thing, like gold does tend to be a safe haven, but there's nothing fundamental about gold that makes it a safe haven. It's just that people think it's a safe haven. And so in a situation where people are just converting everything to cash, gold gets hit too. And that somebody got margin called at the beginning of it to cause all that at the start, I think plays a huge part of it too. Okay, so as I was restarting there, we got a huge pop. Let's see if I can fix this now. Yes. Oh, come on. Oh, maybe it didn't update in the market analyzer. No, it did. Oh, but it could be... Do I have the old one? Do I have that other? No, I don't. That's weird. The market jumped there really good. What we got on Twitter coming through here. 1 minute to the claims. Spike in claims is going to be epic. Germany ready to ditch balanced budget to combat coronavirus. That's good. That's why they're moving.
Red Miller says December 20th, 2019 large dark pool on the SPY. As soon as we went below the corona news went viral. Interesting.
On December 20th? I'm thinking back because I don't think that we were talking about it until the new year. So that's interesting. Man, why does it not show up? I guess maybe they're going to make me restart everything.
Red Miller says yesterday we went below the previous day late dark prince and within moments it was declared an epidemic. Red Miller says we weren't correct but when we fell below that level.
Well, there were definitely some market participants that saw it coming early. The caveat that I would put on that you're seeing is that, early January, there was some market panic over it, some days where they went down, and I made some good money off of those, in fact. And then the market completely shrugged it off. I think because they just figured that it wasn't going to come here. I don't know. But there we go. Now I see it. Yes. So the problem that you get is that if it's limit down and it's not receiving, then the DOM doesn't reset yet. So until the DOM resets, I'm not going to see. I could scroll all the way up, but my finger would get tired from that. Okay. But we can see there that there was some spike up on the news that Germany was going to do that, and then it came back down. Jobless claims. Oh, wow. Okay, 1,722,000 jobless claims. Oh, that's the continuing jobless claims. Initial jobless claims actually in line. 211 versus 218. Actually a little bit better than expected. And then core PPI, month over month, negative spot 3 versus an expected spot 1. So that should move your treasuries up a little bit. Looks like at the moment, though, the treasuries are going down because of the Germany news. Vitor Constanaro, I don't know. Constancio. I don't know how to say that. I've never heard of this guy. We are going into a global recession, at least 2 quarters of negative growth. The necessary measures to contain the spread of the virus make that unavoidable. The big questions now are about the recession's duration and severity. Yes. I don't see any reason that this has to go beyond 2 quarters.
Lucas says morning, Seth.
Assuming that the virus kind of peters out in the summer. But can the small businesses weather the storm in the meantime, as people have to take sick and everything like that? And it really concerns me that we don't have a stimulus package together yet. And I really do think, like I was saying at the beginning, I really feel like that, you bailed everybody
Greg
else
Miller
out.
says interesting WorldGov trying to prop up markets with liquidity, etc. Maybe they should stop at the market maker's office, maybe a lot cheaper.
All right. Well, it's gonna be a disaster until these treasuries find liquidity again, right? Maybe the robots all went out of business. I don't know. Because it's just been like this for a long, long time now. And they're only putting 150 up today.
Lucas says it'll def shake weak business. It's the law of the jungle now.
Yeah. I mean, really, all you got to do is get them through for like 3 months, right? Donald Trump is putting in action to give them loans, cheap loans. Okay, that's cool. But what about workers? Like, I think that a payroll tax holiday is exactly the right way to do it. If you can pay for it. I mean, we do have to pay for it. No question about that. But I think that it directly addresses the problem. And I think that it's your best bang for buck that you can get in this situation. So, I mean, maybe there's some other things like increasing jobless claims and stuff like that could help. But I think that we're probably pretty good on those things. Okay, so I think I got everything set up here. Not getting any orders come through in ES. Where is my... There we go. We'll pull that up. Make sure that this is set up to be ES. Okay. So we're at 25.96. Man, Goldman said 24.50. We're going to get there awfully fast. Well, I think that to get there, we'd have to hit
what's coming is inevitable, and trying to lower rates and stimulate the economy is going to make things worse.
I'm not so sure about that. So, like, the issue that you run into when you stimulate the economy in particular. Let me gather my thoughts here. Okay, well, let's take it from the simple view first, okay? When you stimulate the economy, that's debt. And we already have a lot of debt. There is a point at which you're going to take on so much debt that the market's going to be concerned about it and it's just going to bury you. But probably they can kick the can down the road. And I think that this is a situation, based on my understanding of Keynesian economics, where this is exactly where you want stimulus. Get them through the 3 months, reduce the damage as much as you can, and when the virus is gone, things can very, very quickly come back, and it would not. It's not completely out of the question to be back near all-time highs by election time. It absolutely is possible. Now on the other side, the low interest rates. Where does low interest rates create problems, right? Because I think that we automatically assume low interest rates, that's creating more debt. And it's not necessarily true. But the place where the low interest rates causes problems is that everybody that is dependent on those instruments for yield are screwed. And in this particular case, it is pension funds. You don't want to have a situation where you have to start bailing out pension funds. That would not be good. You also don't want to have a situation where something else comes along and kicks us while we're down. That would really suck, because we don't really have a stop. Now, it also seems to me that when the Federal Reserve puts money out there to buy things,
Lucas says yes, but I think the economy is already overstimulated.
When the Federal Reserve puts money out there for businesses to buy things, that seems to be almost more effective than changing interest rates in the instances that I've seen. So I'm not so concerned about the Federal Reserve not having enough ammunition. Now, is the economy overstimulated? I don't really see that. Like, the big thing that I keep hearing about is the whole repo issue. And you just got to remember that with the repos, the federal the Basel regulations require the banks to hold so much liquidity in treasuries and things like that it is just really, really hard for them to keep it all, and then try and lend it out to other people. So even though it seems like that there's a lot of money out there, there clearly is not enough. There's what the repo thing is telling us, that there's not enough to handle all of the market's needs right now. So the overnight lending facility with a repo, that's a great way. That's a great way of doing it, because they have to pay it back at the end of the day, right? It just lets them fund their daily operations. It's just not the same thing as QE, where they were literally putting this money out there and buying for years actual securities. As a completely different thing, The House will look to pass a bill that would bolster unemployment benefits, institute paid sick leave, offer free testing, and secure free lunch for kids. Okay. It's not going to be enough. It's not enough. Okay, so there was some orders went through on the MES. So that one reset.
Red Miller says agree.
25.90, 25.
Red Miller says a visit to Citadel will be cheaper.
A visit to Citadel would be cheaper. Well, so here's another.
Red Miller says typo apologies.
So, maybe to another point that you're trying to make. Like, where's the plunge protection team? Shouldn't your thought might be, wouldn't the plunge protection team be coming in?
Carriers have the pathogen in their respiratory system for 37 days.
But if the market is overvalued here, the plunge protection team, I don't think they can come in and they can say, well, if we look at the situation, stocks should really be 10% lower than they are. We're going to buy it and hold the market anyways. It doesn't function that way. It's always going to be when the market has gone too far. And so, especially when you have the firms now coming out and doing their analysis and saying that stocks probably should be another 10% lower, plunge protection team can't Citadel can't come in and necessarily do anything. We have to go down first get to fair value, and the further along this goes, the better, more capable they're going to be at
Lucas says so. That's
telling
another
us where
point.
that is.
Aren't we overbought?
I think right now we're probably too high still. But I don't think that we need to like just careen down, you know, like hitting the 5% limit overnight every day is not healthy. That's probably something that would slowly happen. But yeah, I think we're probably going to take another leg down. Maybe then plunge protection team could come in. Maybe then things calm down, liquidity comes back. I'm not seeing what I need for me to be like, oh yeah, like buy the stocks now. Like this is probably the bottom. It's just
Uzi
not.
Knesset says, are we dead yet?
I started to see a little bit of it yesterday, which is extremely high disagreement over an extended period of time in the tape between buyers and sellers. Yesterday, you started to see it a little bit in the first 30 minutes or so of the session, and then what happened? The sellers took over and they moved us down. So, it's not there yet. The sellers still have almost
says,
complete
so
control.
Isn't being overbought a sign of an overstimulus?
No, not necessarily. You know, bubbles can happen without stimulus, right? I think that in the future we're going to have some trouble
Gary
because
Rich says, making a market call, S&P will get to the lows of January 2019. Fed will go to zero rates. Uzi Knesset says, I haven't bothered trading since last week. I'm dying here, lol.
Right? It's just not worth trading. I mean, it's a real conundrum, right? Because we're sitting here like, we need liquidity. Where are the robots? But then, and I say, hey, it was a bad idea to put the robots in charge of all the liquidity. But then when all of the robots are gone and the humans have a chance to do something, what are we doing? We're sitting on our hands too. You know? I don't know. You know, when in a pre-2008 world, when this sort of a thing happened, how much would the liquidity actually pull? I don't know. But it just seems way too light to me.
Uzi Knesset says, lots of bad ideas being exemplified here, like building everything in China face with tears of joy.
Well, yeah. The supply chain thing is definitely going to change, isn't it? ECB to let banks run lower capital ratios due to coronavirus. Aha. Filings for unemployment benefits unexpectedly decreased last week, indicating companies are holding on to workers. I think that's... Well, I haven't seen anybody being laid off. The only people that are being laid off are event workers, and those were temporary workers anyways. At some point, it's gonna happen.
Algo Lover says 10:15 p.m. Algo Lover S. If sellers hold any bounce below 2,673, then 2,583 target. If 73 goes bid first, then anticipate potential squeeze higher. Nerdface still valid.
583 is so close. They're probably almost guaranteed to hit that on the open. You're gonna have to give me a better target on the downside because we're almost certain to touch that right on the open. No, I think that we might be in for some trouble in the future though, because when we were up there on those highs,
says the market is close, Seth.
When we were up there at the highs, those guys over on Wall Street bets were really running amok. You know? Yeah. The public will always get involved and buy us up, and that's going to be close to a bubble because the top is always going to be when everybody's in. I don't think that everybody was in, but we were getting there. We were like late stage, right?
Algo Lover says certainty winking face.
But this time around, they have options. And they were messing with the robots, and yeah. I'm just really skeptical about giving the whole market over to robots. You need people. You need big traders. And I like the robots. I want them to be there, but I want there to be a lot of day traders providing liquidity too. And I don't think that they're there, you know? There's just not a lot of locals.
David Felkai says scared to play the locked limit bounces until 9:30. It's done at 5 to 6. Free money.
You
Algo
know what?
Lover says Monday 2:18 p.m. Algo Lover, CL buyers WLD need to hold MKT above 30 to hold this range greater than higher. If not, then anticipate deeper pullback. Nerd face still valid.
You know what, David? I've actually done that. Last time I played that a little bit on Sim to see how it goes. And I think that if we were still, in the middle of the night, it would absolutely make sense because they almost always bounce a few times. And you can just see there with the little move up because of Germany. They definitely did. But when I did that last time, there was no activity to get you out before the open. And then on the open, they gap on you. So it's probably not a good idea to be in one right now because you're probably not going to get out. I don't know if there's going to be another spike, essentially. You know what? I didn't fill my water bottle
David
up.
Felkai says lol yes, double re-entry stop.
I need to refill my water bottle, so I'll be right back, all right?
David Felkai says 4:30 open.
So anyways.
David Felkai says what are levels for next 15-minute halt on SPOOs and 20% full day halt? Anyone know?
Let's see here. Reference point is 27.26. 7% down if you intend to roll. Okay, so he's saying 7% is 25.35. 25.35 and 23.70.50. Okay.
Algo Lover says can't give you another target until we see whether they trade the current one or not. Okay, hand winking face.
Well, I think that they will almost certainly trade it.
David Felkai says 2,370 for full day.
Yep. That's
David
no
Felkai
13%.
says 20%.
20% would be 21.78. Pretty unlikely we get to there. I actually I'm not so sure that we hit the 7% today. This sell.
David Felkai says lol. David
was
Felkai
not
says OMG.
was not as dramatic as the one on Monday. So I think they'll go down. I don't think that it'll be like that they'll open up at negative 7% like last time.
Algo Lover says good, I think so too, but it hasn't happened, so, thinking face. Air Cages says I want my mommy.
You want your mommy? Oh man, did Bitcoin really puked, didn't it? Did you read my my note in Bitcoin yesterday? I'm really proud of myself. sometimes when I put my Bitcoin note in, I'll be like, okay, well here we are. Well, I'll tell you what I said. Okay.
Gary Rich says at Algo enjoy your words on the about section. True, so true.
So I did my notes yesterday was basically, okay, like things have gotten really quiet. So it looks to me like that lungs are getting squeezed and they're just waiting for somebody to puke. And yeah, sure enough, yesterday they just really went down. And now this morning, Bitcoin is below 6,000. And there could be more to come. We'll see. But anyways,
David Felkai says can we place a friendly bet that it hits 7 down after a dead cat bounce on open winking face?
yeah, totally. So let's be clear. I'm not confident enough to put money down on it, but I'm betting that they do not touch the 7%. At least not on the open. I don't think that they'll touch the 7% on the open. Okay.
First Choice says MYM frozen, is it halted?
No, it's not. So what happens is there's a 5% limit, which just means that you can't put sell orders really below 25.8950, below 5%. So you can put an offer on 25.8950, but you can't market sell at 28.8925. You can't limit sell there, right? So you just get this stack of orders sitting on it, which is what's happening right now. It has taken here now. We've been live for like what 40 minutes, and we saw a 2 lot go through in the E-mini. So now I can you can see that the DOM moved because it needs an order for it to know where to center at. So yeah, that's how that works. There's no halt overnight. We have to wait for the regular session. So probably what will happen if we're still offered here is at 5 minutes before the open, they'll halt it, and then they'll determine where they open up at. We'll trade it. They can go down to 7% at that point. If they hit 7%, then they halt. And it has to stay offered for a certain amount of time too. Okay. And David says a deal. Oh.
Algo Lover says last night right finger 9:33 p.m. Algo Lover note, S sellers have a larger downside target at 2,615. However, it threatens block limit down, so be careful. Okay hand.
Yeah. Now, that little spike up in the treasuries there is interesting. European banks down almost 8% now. Whoa, wait, what? After Germany mulls new borrowing to fight the COVID-19. Germany's long-standing balanced budget policy might be abandoned as Angela Merkel's government considers ways to help fund measures to contain the impact of the coronavirus outbreak. I mean, it is good news for markets, but it looks like that the U.S. equities don't really care.
Air Cages says is everything going to zero?
Nah. We got another 100 points or so to go in ES, though, for sure. I don't know. I think that they should take a few days to get there, We'll see. I definitely don't feel like we're at a bottom yet. That can always surprise you. One of the things that I do see...
David Felkai says don't buy the BS about gold not popping on sells to cover SP margins. Gold should be over 2K, so manipulated. Base industrial metals down correlation seems to be pulling it.
Okay. So that's a good observation that the other metals are going down as well. But it was confirmed that the reason why, a week or two ago that gold moved down was because somebody got margin called and had to dump their long gold position. So I think that kind of started the sentiment, and then all of the people that normally would buy gold on a, flight to safety looked at that and said, well, I don't want to go into gold for that. My right eye, I need to do something about this. I need to go see my eye doctor because it's starting to really itch and bother me. It's just like...
David Felkai says, yeah, that is true, right. But they have been saying that for weeks. Think the base metals make sense.
Yeah. I just remember, there's like, with an interest rate, the treasuries have to go up.
Air Cages says, sell gold? Buy gold? What do guys?
I say that when everybody just pay attention to the market, that you've already missed the trade and you should just stay away from it. That's my take. The same here in the E-mini, like, is now a great time to buy the E-mini or sell the E-mini? Well, we can scalp it, but you would leave it alone because they're in the process of everybody's focusing on selling it right now. And you kind of wait for them to all leave it for dead and lose interest, and then maybe you can buy it. Mohammed El Arain going through the ECB policy announcement. Appears that the ECB has finally understood that lower rates, especially when in negative territory, are not just ineffective, but can be counterproductive. Enhanced wholesale liquidity facilities are a good move. Need to assess design. Thank you. Yes.
David Felkai says Gal DDDDD fin NNNGAHHHH. Just wanted to hear the voice robot say that.
Sometimes she says things like that really well, and sometimes she doesn't.
Jerry is awake says, have the gas prices gone down there yet? David Felkai says, sorry.
I haven't noticed. I'm sure they will. A little bit. There was always this thing where it's like, oh, gas prices should go down, but they're not because X reason. It's always okay. Okay, guys. Really quick here. Can I... June... Still no. There's a lot of stuff on Twitter this morning. Republican Senator Cotton closes Washington office after aide in another lawmaker's office tests positive for coronavirus. Well, they must be doing much better with getting the tests out, because we're getting so much news about who is tested positive now. Oh, here we go. Rand Squawk has an image for us about how to wash your hands. GC decided on a comprehensive package of monetary policy measures. Additional longer-term refinancing operations will be conducted in TLTRO 3. Considerably more favorable terms will be applied from June 2020 to June 2021. He's going through all of the things that they said in this statement. Until the inflation outlook robustly converge. Oh, in this picture, they're really saying you shouldn't shut the water off with your hand. Man.
Red Miller says Hanks test positive.
Oh yeah, Tom Hanks tested positive. See, this is the thing where it's starting to get interesting.
David Felkei says needle encompass ECB.
Is like, for regular people, you just get over it, right? But if you're old like Tom Hanks, all of a sudden that's where like there's a 5% chance that he dies. And everybody's like, no. I'm kind of wondering here on the bonds, by the way, because I was just looking through here on Twitter and noticing somebody talking about it. The bonds are just not up as much as the E-mini is down over the past day. And I think that what is happening is that the markets are realizing that they can only decrease interest rates so much. And probably this move by the ECB probably seals it, right? That the world is realizing that negative interest rates have real consequences, especially now that all of these Japanese pension funds are running everywhere looking for yield. That's a real problem. And so I don't think that we'll actually see negative interest rates in the United States. 0, maybe, but I do not think that they will go negative. And it looks like that the ECB has realized the damage that does as well. So what happens when kids learn that online classes are superior to in-person? The scam of colleges and universities might be over soon. Scott Adams retweeting Mike Cernovich. I don't know. I don't wanna do work from home.
David Felkei says run Forest. David Felkei says bond prices become infinite at zero yields. MKTS are free to decide whatever they want, so yes, the foreign proxies make sense for value.
Yeah. I mean, the market is saying that they're going to reduce rates again next week, right? So that would put us at a quarter. Would they do it again and go to 0? I don't know. I'm not sure if they really need to. I really think that reducing the interest rates definitely helps, but they need the stimulus. They definitely need stimulus. We're just at 110 hit in the ES. Big old 94 lot bought it. That's curious. Eurozone banks index hits record low. Let's see, what does on the CNBC front page today? Futures tank, limit down after Trump speech. Dow set to fall 1,100 points. So this is another thought: is the impact of closing travel from Europe itself a
Red Miller
justification
says
for...
can't imagine what it's like currently at airports in EU right now. Real problems.
Oh, I'm sure, because everybody's got to get out by Friday. I don't know. When that, seeing the internet reaction to that was interesting, to say the least. So everybody, it just doesn't matter what they do, they're going to be unhappy. But man, some people were really upset about it. They're like, it's already here, closing the doors to Europe wouldn't do anything. Well, I think the whole thing here is that he should have closed travel to Europe earlier. If he had done that, some of these pockets maybe wouldn't have popped up. But it also sounds like that in Portland that it was already there well before they were doing any of that stuff. People complain about the testing. Well, that was a problem. I don't think that they could have foreseen. They fixed it, supposedly. We'll see. But the real
David
issue
Felkei
here is the
says
stimulus.
everyone in EU is working from home. It's crazy. Gives crazy people time to trade markets.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, we're still working at the office. I've been working hard this week. I don't work as effectively at home. I just don't. Not that I really talk to anybody at work, but I just don't work as effectively at home. So I'm not one that wants to be like, oh, everybody should work from home from now on. No. Because I've noticed that a lot of people use the work from home to be an excuse to not be working half of the time, you know? And I've definitely had some teams. There's this one team at my work that they're work from home, and they have like the most complicated and messy problem.
David Felkai says despite what the studies say home productivity is BS.
And and I'm just like, you have to ask questions constantly because it's just a complete mess. And they're all working from home, so you message them, and then you have to wait, 30 minutes to get a response. It's just like, yeah, this team should not be working from home. There is real productivity costs to working from home, and that people are more productive at home, I'm a little skeptical about that. I think that to get people to be more effective at home, you'd have to hold their feet to the fire more, You'd have to track what they're doing and give people more deadlines and stuff, at least in computer programming. What else have we got going on? It's really kind of like
Kai Tien
not
Mi
much to
Shang
do
says my
until...
roommates will be staying home until end of May. Their school closed. I live in NYC.
Oh. Isn't it funny that she can read out the full Chinese letters? I didn't hear how she said the first name though. Like Kan Yi Shang. My roommates will be staying home until the end of May. Until the end of May. Wow. So I was reading. There's this one thing that keeps sticking out in my head for some reason, and it was just some
David
guy on the
Felkai
internet.
says, does she know Alexa?
Yeah, it's the Google text to speech, and it's all based on machine learning. So sometimes it knows how to say some things, and sometimes it doesn't. If you were typing some weird amalgam, multiple letters sort of thing, and you're probably the only person that's ever actually typed that thing, then she doesn't know how to say it. But I digress. I was reading this thing on Reddit, and they were predicting that with the number of available hospitals and the number of people that are projected to get coronavirus in the United States, given the current growth rates, that sometime around the beginning of May, that we would start running out of hospital beds. And that keeps coming to my mind. Trump pushes back on Vanity Fair report that he's melting down over coronavirus. Is Christine Lagarde going to be speaking in a few minutes? Let me see here. Oh, you're right. It starts at 7:30. Oh, that's no good. So we're going to have the ECB press conference right at the open. Normally it's an hour before the open, but because of daylight savings time, they should have changed that.
Gary Rich says lock limit in Da House. David Felkai says ECB press con. Yeah. Justin Carroll says I'm pretty sure Nancy Pelosi has a lot of stock investments she cares about, so she'll probably get a payroll tax holiday bill going through Congress. You would think so, but they've been talking. Donald Trump has been trying to get them to do it all week, and he can't. I think that what's happening is he'll have a conversation with them, and he'll say we should do a payroll tax holiday, and they'll be like, I don't think that's going to happen, and it seems to me like that's what's going on, because he didn't have a bill yesterday. They're definitely limit down. They've not locked it yet. But you can just see there on the tape, That's why I put that tape up there on the far left.
So you can see since we've been here today, that's all the orders that have gone through on the E-mini. So not only are we limit down, but everybody has decided that they're just not going to trade until the open.
First Choice says, what are the odds that it will bounce up at open? Dead cat bounce even. Gary Rich says Pelosi wants a Botox bill so she can help that melting face. Yuck.
First Choice, when I've watched these in the past, the way that it usually works is when they reopen, there's almost always a sell first, and then they bounce. So, but remember that the limits are very much designed to create a bounce. So probably we open a little bit lower. We'll definitely go below 25.83. I don't think we'll reach the 7% limit, but who knows? Maybe we'll just straight up open up there like we did on Monday. It's possible. 13% is still really far down there, but is not out of the question. At some point, you're going to see somewhat of a bounce, but the thing with the bounce is like, yeah, you could get a bounce and it might be really disappointing,
Justin Carroll says that's funny because I remember Pelosi freaking out about her AIG stock investments in September 2008 and trying to get bailouts going, face with tears of joy.
Yeah. Why is it that when it's the American worker that needs to be bailed out, that Congress is all of a sudden fiscally responsible, huh? Huh?
Red Miller says, what's the odds of a green day?
I'm going to say low. I'm going to say 30%. Yeah, 30%. Maybe even less than that. It's not even that. Like they go and they touch the 5% limit and then they're going to turn up and be a positive day. That would be a really unbalanced and unhealthy market. I don't think that will go green today.
Red Miller says, okay, we on.
Yeah, this seems like a more fun bet than the other one. That will we open up at the -7? But your odds are very poor. I if there was a betting market here, I bet you that they'd be giving worse odds than 30%. To be honest, Jim Cramer unloads. Says there are no signs anyone in government understands the problem. They know nothing.
Justin Carroll says, what do you think is the most bullish type of day? Gap up and rally all day?
No, not necessarily. So when I see us gap up on the open, that very often will come back a little bit. So I can't really tell when they're going to trend, it's just a thing. It's just a thing that happens and I can't predict it.
Gary Rich says it's gonna drop and lock limit. Tripwire triggers trapdoor alligators in the pit with jaws open.
Good. Where we open is going to be a really big thing to see. If they just drop lower, it's just, man. Okay, so what is Jim Cramer saying here? He's probably saying the same thing that I am. I want the federal government to know more than me. I knew more than they did in 2007, and I know more now. It's unacceptable. This is a situation where if everyone takes the revolver at the same time, we're not going to be worried about the companies that take down the revolver. We need someone who understands we need to make the country work smoothly until we get the kits. Are we going to sit here and let so many companies go bankrupt because of the illness? I think that is stupid. This is time for radical action. The action can be done by the federal government. Once we settle that out and stop worrying about money, we can worry about health simultaneously. Right now, we can't do both. Thank you, Jim. Listen to him. I know people criticize Jim, but he's a smart guy. And he's right when it counts.
Gary Rich says Cramer needs to get back on his lithium drip. True fact. He is bipolar.
Hi, Maciek.
Masiak says hi guys. David Felkai says I know nothing.
Okay, here's this one.
Justin Carroll says why do you think Bitcoin crashed this morning? Down 20% in a 15-minute period.
Yeah, they really puked, didn't they? So I put out a note yesterday. If you go to the Patreon link in the video description, I have a Patreon. Patreon is, a donation essentially for $5, but I don't like just taking money, so I'm giving you something back in return. And what I'm giving you is my Bitcoin valuation charts that is based off of a valuation model that I've developed for Bitcoin that has been extremely, and I mean extremely prescient about where tops and bottoms are in Bitcoin. And it has been saying for a very, very long time now that Bitcoin is overbought. And when this market came in, the model says that the thing that matters is whether or not people are using Bitcoin. And so because people aren't using it, it's going to come down. But the model also says that if we're having a recession, people aren't going to use it as much, so we're going to come down. And so the model was saying that Bitcoin was going to sell. But then I was looking at the price action yesterday, and I was like, look, they dropped from 9,000, now they're sitting at 8,000, and they're not doing anything. It's just quiet. It shouldn't be quiet here. They should be like really upset. So when you get something like that happens, I think what is going on is there are longs that are trapped and they are refusing to give up, and they're probably going to sell. And that's what I said in my note yesterday, and they fell. It's kind of weird because every time I put out a note like that, and I'll be like, maybe I shouldn't say that because maybe that's too strong, and you don't want people to get these ideas or anything like that. But then when I do it, it goes and it does it. And I'm sitting there like, is there like some well that's reading my thing and making me right every time? Like, I just don't understand. It's just way too much, too lucky sometimes.
David Felkai says don't get all the hype about upcoming halving. Bitcoin has
matter.
Never made sense to me. Are you up on how all this works?
Yeah. So a halving is good because it reduces supply. But it's not like an instant thing, right? It's just over time, the supply is going to be less because less coins are being mined. But it takes time for that to happen. And trying to buy it in anticipation of the halving is like really dumb, frankly. Yeah, it is.
Gary Rich says NBA suspended. If F1, Indy, NASCAR cancel races, I'm very, very sad. Jerry is awake says lol at Gary Rich. Masiak says triple A-OK. Masiak says I have just lunched computer. Ace Trade says morning. Computer. Gary Rich says Seth smokes some awesome hopium. David Felkai says is it not priced?
Well, no. So here's the problem. And this is the reason why I put my Bitcoin thing out there. Because I could just keep it to myself and just trade it. But I feel that this is an important explanation for how Bitcoin has value and why it has value and why currencies have value. It's because you can make transactions with them. And the amount of transactions that you're making, the amount of money that you're moving around is directly correlated to what that coin is worth. And the Bitcoin market does not believe that. They have a fundamental belief about the world that is dead wrong. And so I put the model out there to say, look, this model is extremely effective at predicting what is going to happen. And that is evidence that the model is right. That what makes Bitcoin have worth is that people make transactions with it. And the more transactions that people are making with it, the more people have to buy Bitcoin and the higher the price can be. Since Bitcoin is not having more transactions overall, they can't reach those all-time highs. They can barely hold 10,000. And since it's almost all speculation now at this point, those guys are probably going to get completely washed out, which means now back to 6,000. Maybe we'll see 3 again. We'll see. But it's not priced because they don't believe it, which means that there's a really good trading opportunity for you if you can take advantage of it.
Mr. Shine's Mystery Channel says Tom Hanks and wife test positive for COVID. David Felkai says never heard this before, volume equals price. Makes sense, we'll have to read more from you on this.
Yep, I have a video about it, and I post a note every day, and the note becomes public 5 days after I post it. So just go to the Patreon and you can literally see what I've been saying about it every day for the past, 3 years now. So it's cool. I don't know what hopium you think I'm smoking. The thing is, when I look back at this, it's like, okay, I remember saying, I think at this point you have to assume that everybody's going to catch coronavirus, but I don't know how to price it. I don't think that it has to be the end of the world. Okay. Well, I still believe that, but what I see now is Congress doesn't seem to get it, right? They don't understand that, hey, all you got to do is make it till May. All of these companies, they make it till May, and then the economy can roll back on the way that it was. But if you don't get them through to that point, those businesses are going to fail, and you're going to have continued contraction. I don't know if it's partisan bickering. They don't want to help Donald Trump, but guys, you bailed everybody else out. You bailed out the financial companies. You bailed out the auto industry. This time, the one that's in trouble is the American worker. You would think that you would be jumping at the chance to bail out the American worker. And now all of a sudden we're fiscally responsible? Come fucking on. Nancy, you have got to get a bill that introduces real stimulus yesterday. And if you don't, this market is going to continue going down. And they're going to punish you. They're going to say, hey, we will keep selling until you figure it out. And that would be my game plan, is until Nancy Pelosi introduces a tax holiday bill in Congress, I would keep selling. Straight up. And I've seen this play so many times, right? Every time that the markets panic out, it's always the markets trying to force a government action. It's every time. And that's what's happening right now. And like the financial companies, they definitely do it. Hey, there's lots of people in the market now. I think that it's time for you to make that play now, right? Sell it so that they'll put the stimulus in.
Gary Rich says Hedera gonna be the next one.
I'm not sure who that is.
Red Miller says I hope Nancy listening to you.
Yeah, right.
Justin Carroll says I think Pelosi is hoping for a recession this year so Trump loses.
Yeah, so this is an interesting thing that I'm not sure about. Mr. Shine says
Mr.
Yes.
Shine's Mystery Channel says Justin True.
Remember the other day somebody was saying, well, this coronavirus and recession is good for Trump because people will go towards familiarity. I'm not so sure about that. The general political consensus seems to be that the disaster is bad for Donald Trump. When I look back at history, every natural disaster that I've seen like this, it doesn't really help the politician. It can only hurt them, and especially if they're a Republican, because it doesn't matter how good your response is. There's always going to be something that goes wrong that people can point to and say that you're incompetent. So I don't think it's very good for Donald Trump. But does it lose him the election? That one I'm not so sure about. And the reason I'm not so sure about that one is because his opponent is Joe Biden. Or maybe Bernie. Maybe there's a small chance that they could still be Bernie. But it's almost certainly going to be Joe Biden. And I'm not confident that Joe Biden would do the right thing at all. So... And I also think that Americans understand that the recession that we're going to have is not necessarily Donald Trump's fault, even if they don't like his response to it. it seems pretty clear to me that even if everything had gone right, they had more testing kits and the things that they're complaining about right now, that we would still be going into a recession. That other governments made decisions that basically is going to take the world into a 2-quarter recession, regardless of what Donald Trump does. And I think that people will understand that. But there's also another side to this that people aren't considering, because we always remember that the human's bias is to overvalue the last piece of information that they received and to overvalue what's happening right now. And what we need to be thinking of here is what's going to happen in 7 months, right? In 7 months, coronavirus is probably not going to be the headline, right? And we could be on the road to recovery. And if Donald Trump continues to do the right things on the economy, things could look really, really good. So it may yet end up turning out in Donald Trump's favor. But for now, the issue is that they've got to get some sort of a stimulus in there. And the reason why I keep harping on that idea is because I want people to pick up on it, because that's how you get them to do it. I think that should be the strategy. The Republican strategy should be, hey, why is it that when it's the American worker, all of a sudden you're fiscally responsible? Okay, a couple of good questions in here.
David Felkai says, does you data ladder for the big SP show the 5 minutes open execution?
Yes. So I think that in this particular case that there isn't, like, they don't put liquidity on the DOM, that the S&P, that CME will determine where we open at. Okay. But there are some orders out there, so I don't know. We've got a minute.
Justin Carroll says the incumbent party has always lost the White House during a rising unemployment year, 2008, 1992, 1980, 1960, etc.
But this is we should come back to that later, because there's a lot of things about this situation. I don't really think it's the same sort of a thing. Normally it's like you can sit there and you can point to the party's policies and say, this is why this particular thing happened and why we need to have a trading of the guard. As it is right now, Democrats control the House. So if this thing falls apart, especially if Donald Trump is sitting there saying we need stimulus and we don't get stimulus because of Nancy Pelosi, they're going to take some blame. At some point, Wall Street's going to get fed up and they're not going to care, right? They'll take whichever side it takes to get their thing.
Ace Trade says don't get started on Seth's grass. At Lucas. Gary Rich says at Ace wow crude to 30. Justice for Germans says Corona as a scapegoat, whether it's a bioweapon, overhyped or even entirely bogus, it was always intended as a means to deflect blame for the collapse we expected.
Maybe true.
Blue Turtle says the Illuminati said 22,500 in a day. Oh, it happened. Bitcoin under 4,000 soon.
Yeah. Let's go run my numbers for Bitcoin so I can tell you what I think. All right.
Lucas says at ACE trades face with tears of joy morning Ace.
When
Justin Carroll says yeah, true.
Justice for Germans, when you say that Corona is a scapegoat, I think that's the wrong word. Oh, here we are. We did open. Should pay attention. Okay, so they moved down big time. The 7% limit is 25.35. Okay, so they did not open down at the limit. But they pushed it. I don't think they touched it, did they? Oh, they did. No. They barely kissed it. They barely kissed it. They didn't touch the 7% limit. I rolled up to June. Yes, it did.
Gary Rich says lock up limit. Lucas says liquidity is even worse.
Yeah, but Bitcoin is still telling me 3,000. Maybe they could go further. I don't know. 3,000 would be fair, though. Okay, here they come down. They're going for the 3,500 again. See, in this situation, man, there's just like no liquidity. In this situation, I think that you can put an order right there and catch a little bounce and say I'll take +8 or something like that. I don't know if they're gonna get back down there again though. The liquidity is just awful though, isn't it? Just awful.
Bot says S March opened at 2,566.25. Volume hasn't moved to June just yet.
Yeah.
Blue Turtle says 3,000 on Bitcoin. Sure.
Your text-to-speech is pretty good. Yeah, thanks. I have a little. I can show you how it works. I built this myself, and have a little interface so I can read out
Justice
individual
for
ones.
German says your text-to-speech is pretty good.
So when a lot of you are talking, I will turn off the auto read and click on them, but I can also have it auto read everything that comes through.
Lucas says, can we still trade March? I think it's better there. Justice for German says nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
RJ Wheels says trade March till Monday.
I think what I need to do though is I need to make a new version of it that reads my microphone and won't start reading something if I'm still talking. That would be nice.
RJ Wheels says trade March till Monday. RJ Wheels says keep checking volumes.
Jeez. Well, today is the rollover, so I'm going to trade the... Okay, Lagarde's opening statement is the virus is a major shock. Dow down basically 7% now. Man, you can't even trade the micros. All the retail traders are out. All the retail traders are out. Wow. Well, they're trading some okay volume over here in the ES though now. I don't know. You think that they're gonna halt it? Think that they can get down to where they're gonna halt it? 25.35. Yeah, keep checking volumes. I don't know. When it's the day to roll over, it's usually best to just do it. And if there's low liquidity, just don't trade. But I mean, I personally never do well around the roll.
Gary Rich says yes, it's coming.
Yeah, let's see if somebody stacks a big old fatty on there or not. Right now, everybody's doing the play that I would be doing, which is, just buy at the limit and expect a small little bounce. Okay. So 25.35 is the number. Not that many went off there.
Bots says yes at Lucas you can trade March S. Today is only first notice date, so they only care if you're holding overnight or beyond.
23.70
Gary Rich
is
says boom.
13%.
Ace Trade says at Masiak that bat rumor turned out to be false. Blue Turtle says I started trading in Chicago in 1997. I'm retired, but this is fun to watch. Reminds me of the Thai bot crisis. Lucas says at
nice
bots thanks bots. Marque has better flow.
Does March have better flow right now? The liquidity in July is pretty pathetic, that's for sure. Okay, so now they're trading more and it's going offer and they're starting to stack. Look at all those robots bring their offers down now. Okay, so now that it's done it did it at about 7:36, so it has to stay offer for 2 minutes, I believe, right?
Gary Rich says it's done. Lucas says limit down in March. Masiak says trade on the moment as doesn't sense.
It's a limit down in March now.
Justin Carroll says Seth, do you think we'll get a recession here? The econ data looks good so far. Happy Meal Trader says 2,300 not too far. Bots says 15-minute halt just kicked in.
I'm not sure. I don't
Sebastian
think that the halt
Marquez
kicks
says
in
now,
yet.
limit down.
It has to be a limit down for 2 minutes, right? We'll see it on Twitter here when all U.S. stocks halted for 15 minutes as S&P 500 plunges for 7%. Okay, so they did halt it. It is halted. Mm-mm. Oh, Forex Life says, sorry, was premature on limit down, limit down. Now we'll reopen in 15 minutes. Yeah.
Gary Rich says at Blue Turtle, did you experience Japan unwind, Russian ruble?
I love that we always get these old timers in here that have so much experience for us. I tell you what, sometimes I'm an awful trader, but you guys are the real stars in this room. There are so many great traders that we've been able to attract, and I'm just like, I always feel so privileged to talk to you every day. Mm-mm. Well, the thing I'm thinking about now is limit down 13% is 2370.
Lucas says I hope to become one of them.
I tell you what, it doesn't matter what happens. The market's crazy, the market's good. We're going to be here every day, regardless of how awful I'm doing. and my intention is that 10, 20 years from now, we'll still be here. And I don't know if I'll be able to tell you if I'm like an amazing trader by then or not. Well, we will be here one way or another.
Blue Turtle says I was a member at the CBOT. I remember the ruble. The Japanese unwind, I don't remember that.
So tell me, when you traded, what kind of things did you, how did you tend to trade? Were you doing spreads? Were you just like a local in one instrument? How did you trade?
Masiak says at ACE trades there will be a lot of misinformation that will try to cover the truth and guilt, but as history shows, both SARS-1 and MERS also came from China.
Oh yeah, there's always China. And there's reasons why China has been developing these cures, right? The government over there really needs to change some regulations, right? Okay, so we should get a tweet here somewhere telling us the exact time that the halt will end. But it started at 7:36 or so. So probably 7:51. I think we should start thinking about what we should use for today's title again. Should we just say markets limit down 7%? No, we didn't take any trades. How much volume went through? 7 and 9. 16,000 contracts on ES. That's not a lot, is it? Interestingly enough, the treasuries barely moved during any of that. Man.
David Felkai says, can you show the 35 offer on the ladder PLS?
Oh yeah, it moved up, didn't it? There you go.
Blue Turtle says I traded the 5s, 10s, and the long end. Mostly the 10s. Then after Project A, I traded the S. Then I bought houses. Lol. That was much easier.
Houses are much easier, probably. I tell you what, my wife has been calling around on refinancing, but they were only giving us like 3.5, and I'm like, I think it's going to get better. But maybe refinancing isn't the thing. Maybe I need to go buy a rental, you know? This would be a great time to, you know what? I might have the cash. Maybe that's what I should do. I think I need to buy some weightlifting equipment, but I think that after that, I'm going to have some extra. And we could maybe get a rental. That would be so nice. And on a low interest rate, oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, housing is better. Is there a bell for trading halt?
David Felkai says, do you even lift? Gary Rich says at Blue, were you around when Nick Leeson broke bearings? Lucas says I was watching S recordings from beginning of February. That market looked boring, lol. The difference is so huge.
Right? There were some periods of this
Frankie
year
says
where
DAX
yes, it was
10%.
really boring. Okay, so I think we still got 10 minutes.
Cool story, bro.
I think we still got like 10 minutes, right? Okay. Jennifer Jacobs and Donald Trump retweeting her just now. Trump's new coronavirus travel prohibitions will not apply to the trade and cargo that flow between Europe and the United States, the White House says. ECB's Lagarde says ECB stands ready to adjust all of its instruments.
Blue Turtle says Gary, I think I was in Colorado then. I really remember that. I think I was off the floor.
You were on the floor, huh? I really admire those of you that were able to trade on the floor. I don't know if I probably would be awful at it, but it's an experience that we're never going to be able to have. It's really cool.
RJ Wheels says first week of February was like staring at a painting.
Right?
The chart was not moving.
We remember we get into those time periods where like the volatility is just so low that it's like impossible to trade. Man, there was a lot of that, wasn't there?
Justin Carroll says probably 1918 Spanish flu came from China according to Wikipedia.
Probably.
Justin Carroll says in 1993, Claude Hanoun, the leading expert on the 1918 flu, said it was likely to have come
really?
from China.
That's interesting.
Justin Carroll says it then mutated in the United States and from there spread to France, Europe's battlefields, Europe, and the world with Allied soldiers and sailors as the main disseminators.
That's interesting. The Spanish flu, the thing that's interesting to me about the Spanish flu is that it was more harmful to young people because older people had experienced a flu that was similar and it hadn't been around for a really long time. And so the younger people didn't have any immunity to it and the older people did. So interesting to me. But, I mean, our world has really been based on like ignoring that risk, you know? Wow, are they putting liquidity further down? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Huh. Well, wonder where we're gonna start back up again at. Jeez.
David Felkai says who spread the gold chain flu? Justin Carroll says yeah, I read that. RJ Wheel says it came in 3 waves. That's scary to think we might have that now.
So I was reading. So okay, this could be useful to you guys, because there was a lot of arguments on my Facebook about how many people are actually going to get it. Because some people were saying 10 million people are going to die, and I'm like, I don't know about that. So the former CDC president has a group that is kind of does advocacy. And so they did an estimate, and they did a range of possibilities in terms of what percentage of the population catches it and what the different death rates are. And his worst case scenario prediction was 1.6 million. But the thing that I thought was interesting about that and that I thought might be useful to you guys is that he said over 3 years, which means that it'll come and we will have this summer and it'll probably die down. And then when flu and cold season comes around again, it's still going to be out there and, it will spread. So it probably won't be a big economic deal at that point, but it'll still be in the news. Do we see yet the start points?
Justin Carroll says yeah, there were 3 waves of the 1918-20 flu. David Felkai says pop up every flu season, vaccine in 20 months, makes sense to be more conservative. Blue Turtle says back in the day, you would see a new guy come into the pit with $1 million and blow out in 4 hours.
Really?
Usually pro athletes. You get to learn neat hand signals. Also drugs. Not my thing.
I mean, that's just crazy because from my perspective, it's like when you start trading, you trade with the smallest amount that you possibly can, and you have a limit for the day, and you'll lose it, and then you come back the next day, and that as a retail trader these days, I wouldn't expect to make money in like consistently at least for like 3 years. Man.
Kai Tien Mi Sheng says Powell fired?
Nah, I don't think that they'll fire Palkai. I'm sure that maybe Donald Trump would like to, but he knows that would be really bad. So
David Felkai says, does Blue Turtle love Teldar paper?
Teldar paper. What is that? Oh, we have to search. Teldar paper. Teldar paper was the fictional target of a hostile takeover by corporate raider Gordon Gekko in the now classic 1987 movie Wall Street. Oh, I see.
David Felkai says, Wall Street baby. Blue Turtle says the adrenaline when you take the pit bid or offer, some guys take 1,000 lot. Then it's over. Lol.
Oh, man. There sure is some adrenaline. It's something that's been really weird to me through all of this market panic. And maybe it's just because I have you guys to talk to. I don't know. But like, I don't feel panicked at all. I'm just looking at this and I'm just kind of laughing like, yeah, that's the market. Huh? You know, I don't know.
Gary Rich says, if you Google on this day in stock market history, amazing stories of the past.
Yeah, you have to stick around and tell us some stories, Blue. Or we have a Discord, and there's probably a lot of people you can help in Discord. I tell you what. Although, obviously floor trading is a little different from electronic trading. But okay, so it's 48. I still don't see anything about. Okay, reopens at 8:50:44. Okay, let's put this in Discord for those guys. So almost there. 8:50:44. So we got about a minute and 40 seconds.
Lucas says, yeah, I was going to say before, you are so calm lol, markets are crashing and you are keeping cool. Water are you on?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a secret. Here's my secret. Don't trade it. Is that simple? You just switch that thing over to sim and watch everybody else panic. That's great. I'm really enjoying this strategy, to be honest.
Justin Carroll says, I'm calm too. I think it's because I saw everything in the fall of 2008 and this is relatively nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
David Felkai says, on no position. Lucas says, don't trade it. Where do I get that drug?
It's right here. See that? You switch the account over to something else. It's a great drug. I love it. Okay. Man. Yeah, John showing me his chart. It's funny. The gap. The open. Okay. We got about 20 seconds. Yeah, before that goes, I was also thinking, yesterday I was saying, well, there was some stuff last year about the trade war that seemed like more crazy moves. But at this point now that we're hitting these limit downs, this is as crazy as it can get because of right? This is the craziest it will ever see. Well, no, I take that back, because if we get 20%, then that would be really insane, right? That'd be really insane.
Gary Rich says it just in 08 was the unknown abyss. This is just a correction.
25, 26. 2,000 sold into that. Oh my. 25. Okay, so Goldman Sachs said 24.50. Man.
Justin Carroll says at Gary Rich, yes, it seemed like the Dow could drop 90% in 2008-2009 like in 1932.
Look at that.
David Felkai says famous last words.
25.20. But remember, 13% is like way down there. At like 23, right? So that's probably not happening. Let me pull it up again. 23.70. 23.70. It's not out of the question, but that's pretty far away from here. So
David Felkai says OMG.
Look at her go. 24.89. Do we got any big orders
Lucas
down here?
says, oh
I
boy.
can't see far enough. At this point, why not go to Goldman Sachs
David
target at
Felkai says,
24.50?
thanks for documenting this on live. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I love you guys so much. This is so much fun. I'm just the idiot that's stupid enough to stream himself doing it. And I appreciate you guys coming in and watching. Oh my. Okay. So there is some pushback here. Certainly not action that I could put an order in at.
Red Miller says concur.
Ooh. That is so fast. Like if I put an order in right here, it would stop out almost immediately. And look at the micro liquidity is insane. Absolutely insane. Well, there
Blue
is
Turtle
at least
says,
one
I remember
robot.
paper trading. Maybe it's okay for a few days. Latency then became everything.
Yeah.
Justin Carroll says, a week ago I never thought the market would get this crazy over this.
Yeah. I don't think that when this all started that I ever realized that we would be hitting the limits, right? I'm still kind of surprised, to be honest. But yesterday when Goldman put that note out, like that really affected me. Like that was really like,
Gary
okay.
Rich says, you guys will have a story to tell the kids or grandkids. The year of 2020.
Yeah. Have it on video, you'll be able to watch it. Wow.
David Felkai says, gold WTF.
But that to me it was like, because I was always saying, hey, it's definitely like a lot of people are going to catch it. I don't know what the economic impact of that is. How do you measure that? But I know that those guys over at Goldman, because I've spoken to them before in person, I know that they know. And when they put that note out and their guess was 24.50, and of course that doesn't mean that that's like exactly where it's going to go and that's going to be the bottom. But if they're valuing it down there, then that's to me is like, okay, so like they're not even close to having this fully priced in, And that really affected me. And that's why yesterday I was like selling it. And now today it's like, hey, Congress, Nancy, are you watching? Nancy, come on, 25. Well, they're holding 25 okay right now.
David Felkai says, gold WTF.
Yeah, what's gold doing?
Lucas says, what's gold doing?
I don't
Miller
get
says,
the
I think it's
level 2
financial
data
warfare
for
can't
gold.
prove it, but the signs are present.
Geez.
Masiak says, from an economic point of view, bond yields should fall now.
Here is a volume profile chart of gold. So they were at 1630 and now they're at 1590. So gold is selling hard.
Justin Carroll says, I don't think there was an individual day in 2008-09 that was down more than minus 11%. No. David Felkai says, they don't only know what the street think, they make what the street thinks.
Yeah. But I mean, this at this point, because Congress is not putting together a stimulus package, we are at the same spot, right? When things were really crazy in 2008, those days, the ups and downs were 100% based on whether or not they were going to pass the bailout, right? The market throws a fit until it gets the bailout because they need it. And I think they'll sell until they get it.
David Felkai says, the profile says the market is broken, it's always right.
Well, that said, they're only back to March levels in gold, so beginning of March. See if they go lower. Think that they could go lower, that might be crazy. But maybe somebody's getting another
Justin
margin
Carroll
call.
Says yes, exactly, Seth.
Well, maybe the market's going to bounce here. They were able to hold 2,500. There's these really big candles,
Masiak
though.
Says, nice view, slightly smiling face.
Stay out. I should probably just stay out.
Masiak says olive red.
Look at my
David Falkai
ATR.
says you are 100% right. MKTS will beg until they get QE emergency cuts, etc.
Yeah, they need it. Well, I mean, Donald Trump has this thing where they're going to give loans, but like, can you imagine? Like, say you're a producer, and you're going to see a disruption for 3 months, and what are your options to take a low interest loan? Well, you still have to pay that back. Like, that's still debt that you're taking on. Like, so the money doesn't come out of nowhere. You're still taking a hit. Maybe you don't got a business, but you're still taking a hit.
Gary Rich says the banks don't need a bailout this time.
Yeah,
they are way healthier on balance sheet.
Yeah, but you're probably right. They've probably been too cautious with the banks, but it's everybody else now.
David Falkai says yes, lend money so we can buy SP. Worked last time.
I tell you what, if the tax holiday thing happens, I'm taking that money and I'm buying stocks with it. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I'm gonna do with it. If Nancy pulls her head out of her butt, I'm at the moment I'm not too hopeful that she'll do it, but okay, they're coming back. They're coming back.
Bot says 2,615.25 plus or minus is halfway back on that drop from prior close. David Falkai says Energy's bailout, student loan bailouts, pension bailouts.
15.25. That's pretty close to where we went limit to.
David Falkai says it will be something.
I don't know.
Bots says ES testing RTH open. Masiak says at Gary Rich JESVIX is crazy.
Well, when they did it last time, right? They moved down just like this, and then they came right back up to the negative 7%, and then just kind of distributed there. They're moving in that direction at this time. I don't know if it's going to be the same play though. The thing is the volume that I'm seeing is not completely like all in line. Like, there's just not enough, given how far it's moving, for me to really tell. So there's maybe a little bit of
Masiak says guys as if some apocalypse was approaching.
Right. Biggest loser ever, stay right here. His name is Master Yoda. He bought $24.95 and covered it 9 ticks higher. Oh my gosh. That's in Discord. That's in our Discord. Man. Oh, you should have held that. Well, nah, I just don't see. I can't take trades in this. Look, they're turning. Wow, it was turned so fast too. Oh, look at how they're just careening down. Oh man. Oh man, what's that? Okay, so do I see any news or anything? No.
Sebastian Marquez says shit.
That's just crazy. Okay, well, they're not back to 2,500 yet, so let's just breathe.
David Falkai says the micro is not delevered enough.
Look at the man. There's like no liquidity on there. Now that we've had this, are they ever gonna introduce nanos?
Ace Trade says at Masiak it's just
nano?
the market doing what the market does. Money to be made.
Trade the nano. They'd have to make the nano like commission free for that to work.
Justin Carroll says down minus 1.5% in 5 seconds. Yikes.
That was crazy. What's Anthony Crudelli saying here? Sitting back looking at the market today, I see immense fear combined with a rollover in futures. In the past, when I've seen this combination, the market has made a significant low. I think today's low, whatever that ends up being, could be the low for a good period of time. He might be right, except for that there's that 2450 target. There's going to be so many people wanting to take it down there. Okay, so now it looks like they're going to take another little step down. 5-minute candles are just insane.
David Felkai says wonder what CME memberships are doing. Prices were rock bottom in 08.
Really? Oh, really? Well, I think that they just did 50% or so. Let me measure it really quick. From there to top of that one, it's 2527.38. So they did. They went below 50% of retracement of the up move. Oops. Oh no. I just did something. I just screwed it up.
Red Miller says alcohol sales up this week.
I bet. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't need it. I tried to delete my little drawing and I ended up deleting my one of my series instead. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Alcohol sales is up. You think so? Here's something that's kind of funny, is when we have a financial crisis, people tend to go to the clubs and drink more, and the music gets more moody and faster usually. So like in 2008, that was when the Dead Mouse revolution came, and before that it was like a really chill house music, like 125 BPM. And all of a sudden it was like this really gnarly, complicated growling sounds, 128 BPM. That was the Dead Mouse revolution in house music. This time around, ain't nobody going to the club. Right? So what was going to happen? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Masiak says at ACE trades it's also true. For example, $30 oil has never been so low. Now buy and sell in half a year. Slightly smiling face.
Really?
Show me the volume futures says when are we gonna get economic data releases on Club BPM trends?
So if you want to follow Club BPM trends, what you should do is go to beatport.com. Can I log in? Or wait, let me log in. Oh, do I have it logged in? Okay, it's okay. What's the top 10? Okay, so you can come in here and you can look at the top 10. And if you go into the track, it'll actually tell you all this stuff. So here, look, we're at 123 right now. Is the top track. So we're not there yet. But wait a week or two. It'll probably come back up to 128, I bet. Maybe Tech House will be the thing. Okay. So they're slowing down a little. No, maybe I spoke too soon. Jeez. Look at them go. Anybody trading this is crazy.
Sebastian Marquez says, what do we do with this, Seth?
Okay, so what you will see is that when we're going into a real market crisis, club BPMs will increase. So if you're looking at house music will be between 128, maybe even 130. And you'll hear new genres.
Gary Rich says at ACE Jeff Curry of GSAX said 30 crude through summer, then 35 to 40 end of year. Red Miller says turn up the volume, play us a track.
Oh, I wish I could, but then YouTube will flag the video, so.
David Felkai says I am long 123.
Okay. Now, in the middle of all of this, treasuries continue to move down. So we're seeing some sort of really bizarre rotation here. Are people rotating out of their treasuries and starting to buy into the equities a little bit? Or is it going somewhere else? How about currencies? Let me check currencies. Oh, 6J is down too. 6E is down. Gold, like everything is down. Sell all the things, guys. I don't know. This whole thing is wild.
Isarejo says I think these are signs that the world financial system is collapsing.
No, I don't think that the world financial system is collapsing, but something's definitely up. Required, it takes time for markets to analyze, dissect, and appreciate what we do. Top U.S. House Republican McCarthy calls Democrat Coronavirus unworkable. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. They're not going to like that. They're not going to like that. Well, market's not reading that as a headline yet, but that's because the Twitter robots aren't going to read for McCarthy's name and be like, oh, him saying it's unworkable is a big deal, but it is.
Masiak says it is big nice reset on market now.
Well, so let me ask you guys a question. What do you think the bottom will be percentage-wise? What do you think the bottom will be? Because I was always thinking maybe this is a 20% crisis. Do you think that they could get to 50?
Isarejo says they locked Wall Street for 15 minutes and they might lock it again.
We'd have to go
David
really far
Falkai says Fed emergency cut by 4 p.m.
Nah.
Red Miller says just wanted to hear her say it.
Oh, right.
Ashish Sheth says how will the Fed play next week's FOMC?
Let's read this one.
Red Miller says da Germans are coming.
You know what? You can actually make them say it with accents. And then hold on a second. I'll answer your question here, Ashish. Accent, German F. It has to pop up here.
Speculator Seth says the Germans are coming.
That's not it. I'd have to remember the correct thing. Okay, wow. Some of you guys'
David
predictions.
Falkai says 61.8%.
Man.
Ashish Sheth says 78.6%.
Like 78% from the high? Oh man, I don't know. So if it was a 30% drop, wait, what are we at? You know what? We need to pull up my chart here. Okay. And we need to go daily ES. Okay. So the high was 33.97. 33.97 times 0.8 is 27.17. So that was already, we're already past 20%. What are we at right now? 2,500, we'll say, divided by, what was it? 33.97. Okay, so right now we are at 73%. Sorry. 27%. So like 33% sounds about right to me. 33% sounds about, I think they were close, but we're not there. But below that, like 50%, is 50% possible? I don't think 50% is possible. Could happen. I mean, like the worst case, that would have to be 50%, huh? I don't know. Man, what is it? It's okay. Hold on a second. I want to know how to make that accent now, Because I know I put it in there. No, I put it. That's that stack thing. No, no, no. Okay. Where was it? Mm-mm-mm. Node. Is it this one? I think it's this one. No, 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 no. It was in one of the library files. Put it in one of the library files. Yes, there we are. Oh, it's Germany F. Negative 50% only with a recession, I think. We'll see.
Speculator says try again, the Germans are coming.
Yeah, there you go.
Gary Rich says I listened to a talk. All the repo stuff, etc. was to help China with dollar debt.
Maybe.
If China falls, it will drag the world down?
That's a theory I have not heard before. We should investigate
Red Miller
that
says
more.
nice.
Should investigate that more. Okay, well, they're okay at 25.25. Still pretty volatile, but man, those micros are like almost not even worth having up right now. Like they're just everywhere. They're just everywhere, man.
David Felkai says like it. Can I have a German accent for rest of day?
So that's a feature that I think I should build into it, where you could like change your character so that it always reads it in a certain voice. But if you just do the command like I did, accent Germany F at the front of it, it will read it like that every time.
Ashish Sheth says countries like South Africa is in a recession because they majorly export to China.
Well, as far as I can tell from the data that I've looked at, they are in a recession now in Italy. And the United States is probably in a recession as well, although we probably don't have the data now. But I think that the US probably is in a recession as well. Like I said, that's not a question of, before it was like, will we get there? It might be really close. Now it's like, for sure, we're definitely going to have one. Now it's a question of, will Congress do anything to limit the damage?
Ashish Sheth says countries that export their GDP to China are really feeling some heat.
Yeah.
Red Miller says I'm changing my Twitter handle to Da Germans are coming.
David Felkai says yes, 100% yes.
100% yes. My favorite one is still the Chinese male. Or no, the Ukraine female. Ukraine F. This one. It's freaking hilarious, right? There's a Chinese one too. We use the Chinese one the most.
Speculator says I just love the inflection in her voice at the end of a sentence.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh man. Man, I just need to put a list. Here's the list. Wait. Let me format it here for you. How the animals are. Wow, I added a lot. I was selective, but man, I added a lot of them.
David Felkei says it's the end of the world.
Greg Miller
Sure
says
seems
going to
like
change
it.
my name here to Da German ZZZZZ. Kaka Silva says hi.
Hey, Kaka, how are you? Coming here to watch the beautiful disaster that is the market this morning. They're still holding. I don't know. Every time I look at it, they're still around 25.
David Felkei says how do you do the other accents?
Hold on. Okay. Here is the list. So you do exclamation point, accent, space, and then the voice you want. And those are the voice options.
Speculator Seth says Russia Ukraine China Germany UK Japan Japan Sweden Indium.
The Japanese one is probably the most messed up. This one right here. Volume in June sucks. Switch back.
スペキュレーターセと SAYS シス1 can be hard to understand.
Especially anything that's like a short word, it just like it reads
Masiak
it out.
says, haha.
Like, what the heck?
Uzi Knesset says welp, using this downtime to program an indicator that plots a midpoint and open plus or minus ATR value on each bar.
Midpoint and open plus or minus average true range value.
David Felkei says Russian F we make more oil.
No,
China,
you have
it's
to do
not our
accent.
fault.
You have to do accent Russian F. And then and it has to be a separate phrase too. Maybe I should just program them to just do the
Kai Tien Mi Sheng says lol. I am Japanese.
Yeah. The way it reads it is hilarious, right? Because the way that it does it is it tries to read it as like their language even though it's English.
David Felkei says oh.
Yeah. I want do it again because I wanted to read
Uzi
those
Knesset
ones.
says just modified some Bollinger Band code.
That's a good idea, Uzi. This is the average true range. And what's the midpoint? Oh, using the midpoint and the average true range. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I like that. Well.
Kai Tien Mi Sheng says she pronounced my name wrong.
Oh, does she? Really? And it's funny, like when I first heard it, I assumed there was Chinese because we tend to get a good number of Chinese people in here, but I should have known better.
Uzi Knesset says yeah, it's kinda neat. Creates a price envelope.
Yeah. You know what I found really weird ever since I put that median
David Felkei
thing in?
says we make more oil, lots of oil.
Yeah. I just love that one so much.
Kaka Silva says they closed all school are saying people should work from but I work on a warehouse and some people was out of the house to buy something and some of they was Daigans.
Oh, so you know I have a story about this store because like if you've been hearing that you go to Costco and like there's no water and there's no toilet paper or anything like that. And so I was there the other day. There wasn't that many people at Costco. And my wife's like, just go check the toilet paper aisle. We don't need any toilet paper, but like, I want to know what it's like over there. And basically what Costco did was they got rid of the toilet paper aisle. So there's not an empty aisle there anymore. They just put different stuff in it. 1,000 lot just puked? I did not see that one. Ooh. I see it on the thing though. Oh, I should bring this down. Oh my. So many bubbles. Mm-mm.
David Felkai says Corona not our fault, very sorry. Kaka Silva says diagnose.
Well, we usually use the China M for the Chinese propaganda. That's the Chinese propaganda. People are really suggesting this will go away here like it did in China. Do you know what they did in China, says Forex Live on Twitter. All this because of bat soup, my gosh. Bought some PGF. Wow. I am kind of seeing consolidation here. It'd be really hard to
David
pick a
Felker
spot,
says
though.
we are still the economic powerhouse of Europe by our cars.
Yeah, man. So I put the Germany female one in there because I
Red
just
Miller
think her
says
accent is
financial
so
warfare.
sexy. I think her accent is so sexy. Man, it's great. Isn't it great? I'm so tempted. I'm starting to think about placing something, a sim trade. Yeah. But I don't think that I can use like okay, so we're gonna have to change
Red
some
Miller
things.
says how I change my accent.
So you just use the command
Gary
that they're
Rich
putting
says
at the
have you seen the
beginning of their
prices for
phrases.
TP on eBay? That is expensive wiping.
Oh man, really? Okay. Let's see
David
what they
Felkai
can
says
do
it's
here.
not our fault this time, haha.
That's not one of the ones on the list. Okay. We're just gonna do this with a one lot. Okay. Not bad. Whew. Yeah, I don't think there is an Irish accent available even. I don't think. Or maybe I would have put that one in there. That would have been interesting. Okay, where are we at over here? Okay, cool. Cool. So far I'm liking it. 2570. Oh. Ugh. Okay.
デイビッド・フェルカイ SAYS I lost our decades. Where can I find them? Last one THIS was FUN.
Oh my gosh. I didn't understand a word she said. Japan, I lost our decades. Where can I find them? Oh my gosh, that was great. Oh man. You know what? I can't believe that one only went 20 against me. I think that one was a good call. We got to get above this 25.51 or so, though. Look at the runs they get on this thing. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Let me tell you what. Total number of coronavirus cases rise to 590 from 456. Okay. I should put that there. Actually, it shouldn't be a stop limit. It should just be a stop. Okay. No wait. I don't even want that. Just want it to be like that. back up here. Cool. 100 on one contract.
David Filkai says new breaking news from Moscow. We are switching production away from oil to vodka.
Red Miller says I'm waiting for the late overnight dark prints to come in. This AM shortly will give some indication. If they were buying yesterday's lows.
Okay. Where do you get that information from? That's interesting that you look at that.
Red Miller says LMFAO.
One was pretty good, dude. Oh man, they came back so fast. They come back so fast.
Red Miller says FINRA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when I worked for Goldman, we would look at the pools, and I was always like, wow, there's so much data here that people don't have. It's not fair. I didn't think it was fair. But it was also like necessary. It was like, well, there's no other way that these people can make these transactions, frankly. Okay.
Red Miller says 3-week delay. However, I get it 30 minutes delayed via paid service.
Oh, that's cool. Interesting. Okay, so
Red Miller says typo 20 minutes delay.
They retraced that whole move. Probably should have taken some profits somewhere up there. I think the move that I'm looking for will take a little bit more time. Time that I might not have. Suppose I can just put it here at the 50. Sure. Man, like hardly anybody is trading June. Okay, cool.
David Filkai says heads or tails, long or short, what do you think?
Well, I think that we've probably put in the low for the day. It's just the way that circuit breaker works. It's really hard for them to get lower, right? Because you wash all of the shorts out there. Who else is going to go short at that point? Yeah, I'm glad that I took that off there. So this is 8:30, which is about the time that we tend to stop. How should we put this? Because I feel like we did okay with the video last time, but I think that we can get more people. How do I want to put it? Because the whole thing is like you get to see everything. And most people don't realize that you can do that. How about we say watch futures order book as S&P-500 hits 7% limit.
David Felkai says accent Russia live market crash 2020.
How about that?
Gary Rich says comrade Trump, your job is done, come home to the mature land.
Come home to the motherland. Wait, did you not do is there not the Russia F1? Why is she not reading it? Oh, we probably need to close and reopen this. Sometimes it gets
David
backed up.
Felkai says lol.
Sometimes it gets a little backed up. because it's JavaScript. I want to that it should have done that one. Let me try it again.
Speculator Seth says accent rush of live market crash 2020.
What about the Russia M one? Does that one work? Must have a bug because that should totally work. I don't see anything wrong with it. Accent.
Speculator Seth says accent rush of live market crash 2020.
Oh, no, you know what probably happened. Okay, hold on. Sometimes if you copy and paste it, you can get a character in there that it doesn't recognize as an exclamation mark.
Спекулятор says live market crash 2020.
Yeah, that's what happened. So if you copy and paste the thing from YouTube, it takes the encoded character and it doesn't recognize that. So that's how you got to do it.
Red Miller says I wonder how Obama would have handled Corona.
Well, that's an interesting question. There are a lot of things about what's been going on that I think were probably unavoidable,
Harlequin says holy moly, just came back home and saw the Dow was on 21,200 lol.
Right, that's pretty insane. I actually did take a trade in there. And I almost it didn't quite come to my target, so I should have taken it off at 100. But anyways, no, so like the testing kits in particular, that was something I don't think that the Obama administration would have been able to have seen either. It was something that it wasn't until it happened that they knew what was going on. I think that Obama might have had this particular speech that Trump gave last night. He probably would have done it faster. But in terms of actual policy, I don't know. The other thing is, I don't think that Democrats would give him as hard of a time on getting stimulus, right? I really feel like that's the problem today, is that the market wants stimulus and it's not getting it. But I digress. VIX at 69 implies about a 20% movement in SPX over the next month. It looks like the fund is here to stay for a while. Wow, what? Really? Is that really even possible? Okay, well, let's post my my cryptocurrency notes. Hey, is it giving a short? It says short. Let's see what they do. I can kind of see the downturn, but I don't know if it's enough. I think I probably would ignore this one, but let's see. Oh, I'll turn the auto reader back on for you guys here.
Гарри Rich says Comrade Trump aspired аж 15, you have made mature Russia proud. It is time to finish the job and get rid of the orange thing.
Get rid of the orange thing? What? Yeah, see that one ended up failing. They're buying it still. Maybe that trade that I held, I could have been in it longer, but because it's 8:30, I was like, oh, I better ditch it. Mm-mm. Okay. It is the 12th today, right?
David Felkai says the treasuries are almost as good as the bund.
Oh, it's Thursday. I forgot.
Red Miller says you mentioned earlier when you worked at the bank it was insight into the pools unfair or something you said. Can you expand?
Sure. Hold on a second. Select area. Well, I don't know if there's really a whole lot I can say about it. So I worked in technology, so we set up the pools. I remember those projects. And I did see a little bit of flow in terms of like what was going through there. The amount of money this was before I was able to see people's positions. So I worked on one system that was basically the risk control system. So I could see like everybody's maximum risk, and those numbers were insane. And when I saw this one in the dark pools, that was before I really had that context. But at the time, to me, it was quite amazing how much it was.
Anthony Monroe says Wassup Seth. Nice day to dine in crypto hell zany face.
Right? I mean, I think that there could maybe be some more downside, but I see some guys trying to buy the dip right now. So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be like a dead cat bounce, and then maybe they finally give up. I mean, I really don't see the case for Bitcoin to go up while there's an economic crisis going around everywhere. But okay,
Bots says ES trying to go long off the outside 5-minute bar at 2,574 but struggling to stay above RTH open at 2,563.
Yep. That bar where they touched, what was it? 63. There was a lot of volume they went through at 63. Anthony is loving it, huh?
Anthony Monroe says loving it.
Well, thank you. I had a note yesterday kind of suggesting that they were going to move lower. I didn't really expect it to come down to 6,000 like it did. So I feel pretty good about myself right now. If you after the stream, check that out. I'm really concerned that the treasuries are still selling. Like, I mean, I guess the equities are recovering, but they're going to be. Are they going to be down on the day? Wait, no, they won't be down on the session. Maybe it's not a big deal. If we ended up down on the session in treasuries, that would maybe be.
David Felkai says, where does your model put Bitcoin?
Okay, so in my model, I have an upper and a lower band. So it currently puts the Bitcoin is oversold at 3,000. Now, you got to realize though that especially on the downside, they can very much go through that. On short-term trading, because the thing is it's based on how much money is actually being transacted on the blockchain. There's a little bit of lag on that, right? Because If you just look at it from day to day, it's random. So we have to average it out and everything. So, it'll get down to 3,000. At that point, if you really want to buy it, you really have to watch the flow because it'll be all over the place. Yeah, I don't know if I can explain it better than that. Anyways, going back to the dark pool thing, I remember at the time it was like, this is so much volume that's being traded, and it's unfair that these are being transacted and nobody else gets to see it. But on the other hand, it really is getting to the point where like the banks cannot transact efficiently without them because they have so much data. So there's kind of this really weird thing going on in markets where the technology makes some things that probably should be like real transparency in the futures market. If I was able to see everybody else's position, or at least like attach an order to an account, that might actually be unfair or well, not unfair, but like unworkable. So that's kind of what I was getting at, is like, I have mixed feelings about dark pools because on one hand, I don't feel like it's fair, but on the other hand, I kind of see why they have them and why maybe they're necessary. Okay.
Harlequin says, man, my grandpa decided to buy stocks 2 days ago. Just noticed it today and his 20k position is down €3,000 person facepalming. Red Miller says, okay, first late print SPY 274.44. Red Miller says means they were buying yesterday's low.
Yeah,
Red Miller
I don't
says
think
if we
it's
stay
time to
above
buy
those
yet.
274.44 may see a run north. I know we not above it yet, however market may just go towards it. Uzi Knesset says, hey, can I ask you a quick programming question?
Yeah, go ahead. I think we have a little bit of time. Yeah, I'm not in a rush to buy stocks because, for one, they're not putting the stimulus out. But then for two, it's not going to be a V bottom. If we touch the bottom, let's just say that we push down today and this ends up being the bottom. I don't think it is, but let's just say that today is the bottom. We will probably bounce around in this general area for a week or two, if not a month. So I don't think that there's any reason to be overly anxious to buy it. I would rather wait until nobody cares. Like today, what was our peak viewer activity today in the stream? We got up to 42. When we're back to the peak of the stream is 20, and then maybe it's time to buy stocks again. Yeah. No, I understand what
Red
you were
Miller
saying.
says,
Red.
I'm not referring to buying stocks, simply watching SPY to trade futures.
I get the error calling on bar update because it is out of range. Okay, so probably what you're getting. I would let me pull up the editor. So let's look at the Bollinger Bands that they have. Bollinger. Okay. Did you notice here? Oh no, they don't have one on their on bar update. Okay. So they're using SMA, standard deviation, upper, middle, lower. Because when you're doing something where like you're looking one bar back, like if you have anything that uses something other than 0 in there, then you have a potential problem at the beginning of the chart, right? So then you have to do things like, which ones did I have? It was like called outside bar or something like that. Well, I'm pretty sure that I have it in this one. Okay. So here I had to say, if it's not 0, there was some like previous day bars that I had to like ignore, for instance. Sometimes there's this, if it's not the first tick of the bar. So there's somewhere like you want something to happen at the end of a bar, but you don't want your indicator to be on update on each you don't want the update to be at the end of the bar, because then you have to use that. And then where's one that actually has the thing that I'm looking for? Elder impulse, probably, maybe. Maybe this one? Nah. Oh, I don't even use on-bar update on that one. That's funny. What about this one? Okay, so here. So there's a property you can set called bars required to plot. You can say, we need 2 bars first. And then here I do this check that says, if current bar, if you have multiple series, you have to do current bars of 0. But if you just have one series on your chart, then it would be current bar is less than or equal to bars required to plot, just return. And so that's probably what you need, Uzi. Why would it suddenly throw that error only on the daily time frame and higher? I don't completely understand it. But sometimes you can get, like, current bar can be -1, for instance. So that's why, you're probably, for yours, since you were probably averaging previous bars, you might have to say, okay, we can't actually draw this until we have 5 bars or something like that. Right? What were you saying here? We've run out of requests, so I can't do the text-to-speech thing anymore. That means it's time to get going. If we stay above those 274.44, we may run more. No, we won't get above it yet. However, market just goes towards it. Find late prints are most important. Okay. Simply watching SPY to trade futures. Gotcha. Buy stocks when BPM drops from 128 to 123. Yeah. I mean, the better we're doing, the more it the slower it gets. They get down to like 120. Buy stocks on Robinhood. Well, I would like to buy some stocks. Maybe we'll get a chance to buy Bitcoin. Who knows? But we gotta wait. If I did stocks, I would do it on my Fidelity account, probably. That from work, or maybe I need to set up an IRA. Can you explain how those dark pools work? Well, sure. So, like, it was just like a regular market, but it was one in which only really big players were in, so they could put together a really big order and put it out there, and it was kind of more like an over-the-counter market. So you could put up and say, I want to buy X thousand shares of this, and somebody else would say, okay, I'm willing to do that. And they'd set it up, and so you could trade this huge amount of transactions, and you wouldn't have to wait and see, like, we lost a couple of people. There was like I'm just looking over here, and I'm like, what's this little dip? Looks like some of you guys lost your connection for a minute or two. I didn't catch that. But I mean, that's all there is to it. It's just a market that doesn't report to the larger market until the end of the day. Like they're saying, it's like FINRA reports it, right? Harlequin says, do I hear a garlic coin bull run? No, probably not. Every time that Bitcoin goes lower, the garlic coin just gets worse and worse. So maybe at some point, maybe someday, I can be rich from garlic coins. I'm really interested to see what it does tomorrow Friday, and then Monday. Because nobody wants to hold into the weekend, and then we get up on the weekend and they sell it down on Sunday, you know? Are they going to do that again? Well, I hope not. Anyways, I think that's all the time that we got for today. I got to get going now. Thank you guys all for watching. Go ahead and click that like button. I think we had fun. I think my title is okay. We'll see what we get people to do here. Damien Osmond, how's it going? Oh, it's time to go, dude. You got to be here on time. 8:20 Eastern time, guys. Early bird gets the worm. Another I say tomorrow we get over to the 274.44 spot. Interesting. Well, we'll see. Today it looks like maybe they've busted the high. I don't know. Red Miller says great room. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, dude. You know, all I focus on is one, trying to trade my best. Sometimes I'm awful. I just have to warn you, sometimes I'm just an awful trader. And then just trying to provide value for you guys. I thought we had a lot of fun today. I was a little bit more attentive to the chat and was clicking read intentionally so that we weren't like interrupting each other, because somebody complained about that yesterday. But yeah, it's good. I need to make it a new version that has access to the mic so that if I'm talking, it won't start reading it. But oh, thank you. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, click the like button and make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell icon, because when you hit the bell icon, YouTube will show you the notification when we go live, and when you visit the homepage, you will see this when I've created the event for the stream, you'll see that too. So it's a lot easier to find the stream if you subscribe and you click the bell icon. Damien Asman 199, thank you so much. Where do I find your email? So you can email me. I'll give you my email right here in chat. So you guys are totally cool to email me, but really the best way to get a hold of me is on Discord. So if you look in the video description, there's a link to our Discord. We have a Discord, and you'll just see me. I'm the only administrator, and you can just message me on Discord, and that is on my phone, so I'm usually pretty responsive. And I definitely get a lot of messages. I probably get at least 2 a day, but we're a small enough community, that's something that I want to do and I can handle. So don't be shy about messaging me on Discord. Yeah. Damien says I got no notification. So I have to go in and create the event, and today I kind of created it a little bit late. But you should, now that it's gone, if you went back to your YouTube front page, you'd have to, if you went back to your front page, you probably should see that it's going live now, especially if you have the bell icon clicked. How do you spell Discord? So no, look in the video description. Down at the very bottom it says join our Discord server, DISCORD, and you click that link and that'll get you started. Yep. So it's all below. There's also the permanent live stream URL so that you can bookmark that and then just load the bookmark in the morning. That's how the guys that get here first, that's how they do it. And the Patreon link is in there. We have some Facebook groups. Not a whole lot of activity in the Facebook groups. We're still building it up, but there's everything you need is in the video description. So cool. But yeah, I really enjoy having new people. So it's cool. I will see you guys tomorrow, Friday. It's going to be interesting. Do we have news tomorrow? Really quickly. Let's just check. What do we got on the docket for Friday? There's always something on Friday. Consumer sentiment. Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Okay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for consumer sentiment. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.